Hi guys! Today I am going to be focusing on some of the changes that I've made to the food I buy and eat. I've actually made loads of changes to food, so I'm sure there'll be lots more videos on this topic in the future. But for today, I'm just going to be focusing on ordering a vegetable box. At the end of 2019, I set a New Year's resolution to reduce the amount of plastic wrapped food that I was buying. So first couple of days of January, I was feeling really motivated and I made my way to the supermarket. And all I wanted to buy was 1 day's worth of food without any plastic. I found pretty quickly that that was nearly impossible. So many vegetables came pre-wrapped in plastic. Even if you wanted to buy fresh bread, the paper bags that you could put it in came with this little thin strip of plastic, presumably so you could see the product you just put in the bag yourself. And even the vegetables that weren't already wrapped in plastic had to be put in little flimsy plastic bags so they didn't fall through the holes of the basket. There were no other alternatives provided. And on a slightly unrelated note, I also noticed that actually the vegetables that were not wrapped in plastic tended to be more expensive than the vegetables that actually were. Ordering online was actually worse than this. So in this particular order, I had ordered, amongst other things, a single carrot and 2 potatoes, and they actually arrived wrapped in their own little small plastic bags, despite me ticking the box that said no plastic bags in my order. I just felt so deflated. Like most people, I didn't have the privilege of time to source this plastic-free produce and was just annoyed that the supermarkets weren't doing more to combat this. So I decided to sign up for a vegetable delivery box. And I was incredibly pleasantly surprised to find that in my very first order, there was not a single piece of plastic on any of the items. And even the box that my vegetables got delivered in could then be returned to the driver to be reused again and again. But like with so many other sustainable swaps, there were way more benefits to these vegetable box deliveries than just reducing my plastic usage. In the supermarkets, vegetables and fruits have to be perfectly shaped to find their space on the shelves. But in a veg box, all fruit, all veg is loved equally, and so the food doesn't get wasted. Most vegetable boxes are organic, which means fewer pesticides are used when farming. The fruit and vegetables that you get in these boxes is more seasonal, it's fresher, and I think therefore tastier, because it's often picked within a week of your delivery date. Fruit and vegetables, you lose their nutritional value as soon as they're picked. And in the cases of some supermarkets, fruit and veg might be picked good 4, 5, 6 weeks before they end up on the shelves. To combat that, some supermarkets might have to use chemicals to keep the foods fresher for longer and sort of elongate their shelf life. So we avoid all of that when ordering a veg box delivery. Many vegetable box schemes help support our local small farmers and help to decentralise our food supply, i.e. take it out of the hands of the small corporate suppliers that most supermarkets will go to. Cooking from scratch using locally grown seasonal foods is also a really, really good way to reduce food miles and the associated emissions with those. So far, I have only used Able and Cole for my veg box deliveries, and I have had a fab experience so far. The drivers are always super friendly, and the food and fruit and everything that I get is always really, really good quality. I really like as well, I haven't used this yet, but I'm going to look into it. They've just introduced something called Club Zero. So they send essentials like nuts, seeds, herbs in little returnable, refillable containers. You then put them into your home jars or whatever containers you have, and you give the containers back to the driver so they can be used again and again. So that is something I'm really hoping to look into. Also learned recently that they are a certified B corporation. Now, I did have to look into what this meant, and I'm going to read this one. A B Corp is a business that meets the highest standards of verified social and environmental performance. They offer public transparency and legal accountability to balance profit and purpose. So essentially, they are trying to balance profit with people and the planet. There are so many vegetable box options out there. You've got the larger Riverfords, Able and Cole. You've got the Odd Box company that saved those misshapen fruit and veg that I spoke about earlier from being wasted. And I'm sure you've got lots of more local options and smaller company options as well. So if you tried a vegetable box delivery service, what was your experience with it? Let me know in the comments below.